All right, 2015 question on algebra. So this one is a factorizing one, and it really is checking to see, do you know your quadratics? So part A, the first one says factorize x squared plus 7x minus 30. Well, how do I know that that is a quadratic? Well, I know it because it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? And that's what a quadratic always looks like, okay? So how do I factorize it? Well, eventually you will get to bracket, 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 okay? That's where we're going with the quadratic, and when you factorize it, that's what it looks like, okay? But we're not there yet, okay? There's no number here in front of x squared, so how I do these ones is I use minus 30 as my guide number, and I do the factors of it. So the factors of minus 30, and you can see I take the sign with the 30, I sort that out at the same time. So I'll have minus 30 and plus 1. Signs are different to make a minus, so minus by plus is a minus. So that's why one of them has to be a plus and the other has to be a minus. I also have 15 and minus 2, or minus 15 and plus 2. 6 5s are 30. And I am obviously missing one. Oh, 30 divided by 3. Okay, so 10 plus 10 minus 3. That's a bit hard to read. Plus 10 minus 3, or minus 10 plus 3. Okay, so how does bracket, bracket, bracket work? Okay, well, there's my brackets. What you do is you factorize the x squared, and that goes into here and here. Okay, so the factors of x squared, well, there's only one set of factors, x and x. Okay, that's why it's nice when it's just an x squared. The next part is you factorize the minus 30, and that goes into here and here. Now remember, this is the way we do it when there's no number in front of the x squared. Okay, the little problem is that there's lots of options for factors of minus 30. Remember, we only had one set for x squared, x and x. For minus 30, we have all of these. Okay, so how do you know which is the right pair to take, or the right set to take? Well, that's what we use the middle number for. So this plus 7 that's in the middle, you're looking down through your options and you're going, when I add the pairs of numbers together, do I get plus 7? So for example, when I add the top ones together, minus 30 plus 1, I get minus 29. When I add plus 30 and minus 1, I get plus 29, okay? When I add, for example, 10 and minus 3 down the bottom, I get plus 7. When I get minus 3 plus minus 10 plus 3, I get minus 7, and so on and so forth. That's what I mean by adding them together. So the one we need is the one that gives us plus 7. So this is the right set of factors for this quadratic. Okay, and again, when there's no number in front of x squared, it's as simple as putting the plus 10 into one bracket and the minus 3 into the other. And that's it done. That's it factorized. Okay, part 2 then says hence or otherwise solve it. Okay, and you can see the solve has the equals to 0. So you have x squared plus 7x minus 30 being equal to 0. Okay, so the hence, that word hence always means this part follows on from this part. Okay, so how would I do it using the hence in this case? Well, I write that as my factors, like that. Okay, and how you solve then is you split the factors. So we let each bracket equal to that 0 on the end. And you solve. So in other words, you're minusing 10 from both sides, or you're bringing that 10 over the other side. Either way, you'll get minus 10. You bring him over the other side and you'll get 3. Okay, so that was the hence. That's how you do it using factorizing. So it's really fast to solve it once you have your factors. Okay, the otherwise then you could have used the minus b formula. Okay, and remember that minus b formula is in your log tables, page 20, up the very top. Page 20 is called Algebra. There's your ax squared plus bx plus c, and there's the formula that you can take right down. Okay, so for your mocks, you'll need to ask your school, are they handing them out to you, or are they, do you bring in your own ones? Okay, so remember I said any quadratic can be written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is the number in front of x squared. And when there's no number like that, it's not 0, it's 1. B is the number in front of x, and it's not the x, you don't take the x. You just take what's called the coefficients or the numbers. And then the A tells A, you know, is the one in front of x squared, B is the one in front of x, and C is the number on its own. Okay. And then you just plug it into the formula. So I'm looking here. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay. And if I put that into my calculator, okay, the square root piece, 7 squared minus 4ac, I'm getting 30. Okay, and then you split it into its two pieces. So one of these answers will come from the minus sign, and the other answer will come from the plus sign. Okay, so in other words, you split this into the plus and the minus. So your first answer comes from minus 7 plus 13 all over 2. And that's 6 over 2, which is 3. And the other answer comes from minus 7 minus 13 all over 2. Minus 7 minus 13 is minus 20, divided by 2 is minus 10. Okay, so not surprisingly, you get the same answer. Okay, so that's the hence this way, that's the otherwise. And you can see you get the same answers and the same marks. Right, so part B then says solve the equation 2x squared minus 7x minus 10, okay? So always look here and make sure you know, is it a factorize or is it a solve? Okay, so this is a solve. You'll always know a solve too because it'll have the equals to bit in it. Now, what's different about this one is it says give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. What that normally means is that if I was to factorize it, just like I've done over here, I won't get whole numbers as the factors of 10 that add to give me minus 7. Okay, that's what it normally means. You have decimal point factors. Okay, so if that's the case, it is much easier to do it using the minus b formula than it is to do it with factorization and then solving. So anytime you see this, give your answer in the form a plus or minus, you could have b root c or something like that with the square root in the answer, or you see give it correct to 2 decimal places, just go straight to the minus b formula. Okay. So I'm just going to rub this out now just to give me a bit of space, and we'll do it then. Okay, so I have 2x squared minus 7x minus 10 is equal to 0. So my a is 2, my b is minus 7, and my c is minus 10. So it's x equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So it's equal to minus b, so watch that, it's minus 7 plus or minus the square root of minus 7 squared, and watch how the minus 7 goes into a bracket, minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so minus 7 is a plus 7. Okay, and on the bottom then 2 2s are 4. And then into my calculator I hit the square root of bracket minus 7 squared minus 4ac, and I've got root 129. So you can see I didn't get a nice even number like I did the last time. And again, you split it by sign, the plus and the minus. So one answer comes from 7 plus root 129 all over 4. And the other answer will come from 7 minus root 129 all over 4. So hit the fraction button first when you're putting it in. So 7 plus root 129 all over 4. And if I STD that, I am getting 589. And if I round that to the 2 decimal places that the question asks for, that 9 will force that 8 to round up. Like so. And then if I go back and I change that plus to a minus and STD it, I am getting minus 1.089, and again rounded, that's minus 1.0. You always have to look at the third value if you're rounding to 2 decimal places. So that 9 again causes the 8 to round up to a 9. Okay, so very important to be able to do quadratics, factorizing, and the minus b formula. So a very, very important question.